How do we win more elections and save our democracy? We need more volunteers out listening to voters. The purpose of this presentation is to explain why listening to voters is so important to win elections. We will also try to explain how a basic field campaign works so you can have the best impact. The goal is to convince more people to volunteer, to contact and listen to voters, so we can win more elections and save our democracy. We will cover why listening is so important, how a field campaign works, a basic script and example message, active listening techniques, and the most important thing to remember. Great campaigns understand that people want to be heard and spend at least 70% of their time listening rather than talking. From campaigns and elections, study shows deep listening is over 100 times more effective in winning undecided voters. From common dreams, also. Respectful, non-judgmental conversations are able to move voters where many other tactics have failed. From common dreams. Listening to voters is the most effective and hardest thing we do to get Democrats elected. The good news is you don't need to convince voters by yourself. Once an undecided voter is identified, the campaign will try to contact that voter 6 to 8 times before Election Day. A field campaign starts out by calling on strong Democrats to recruit volunteers. Those volunteers contact voters by calling and knocking on their doors to identify who is supporting whom and who is undecided. The campaign continues to contact voters with a focus on undecided voters, and this includes direct mail, targeted social media ads, as well as more phone calls and door knocks. The campaign may also encourage early voting to avoid long lines on Election Day and to make it easier to get our remaining voters out to vote. The campaign is constantly updating their database, and ultimately they identify which voters they believe are supporting their candidate, and in the last few days there is a mad dash to get all of our supporters out to vote, and that is how we win close elections. We need 50% plus 1 vote to win any election. Calling and knocking on doors works better than polling to give a campaign a clear picture of how the campaign is doing so they can make important adjustments. Once a campaign knows who the undecided voters are, they know what they need to do to win in the final days of the campaign. When we talk to voters, every piece of information we collect is gold. We can find out who has moved, what issues are most important to each voter, who is supporting our candidate or not, who is undecided, so we can go back and make these voters feel like they are being heard. When knocking on doors, we are also delivering a piece of campaign literature to every voter, whether they answer the door or not, and all of this gets recorded in our voter database. When we talk to voters, we can find out who needs a ride to their poll, who needs help voting absentee, who might need help with curbside voting, who needs language assistance, who will take a yard sign, and who wants to volunteer to help us get more people out to vote. We can also encourage early voting to avoid long lines on Election Day and make it easier to get our remaining voters out to vote. You might not reach many voters each time you knock on doors or make calls, but over the course of a campaign, with many people knocking and calling, we can get through to enough voters to make the difference in a close election. It's like a patchwork quilt of information that we are all helping put together. It's a lot of work, but if we keep at it and find enough people to help, we can get it done. Here is a basic script where we ask questions and listen carefully to figure out if we are speaking with an undecided voter or not. Pause the video to read the script. Some people will give you a clear answer, but when you find someone who seems undecided, this information is very important to the campaign, and they will go back to these voters several times before Election Day. This is an example of a basic message. I'm working hard for Jane Smith because she is fighting for campaign finance reform, because we can't get important things like affordable health care or clean energy until we get big money out of politics. It helps to have something like this memorized before you start contacting voters. A campaign might give you something to use. Try to put it in your own words. The main point is to get them talking and for you to listen to what they have to say. Most U.S. voters agree with us on big issues like global warming, keeping abortion legal, immigration reform, taxing the rich, same-sex marriage, public health insurance, labor unions, gun restrictions, and raising the minimum wage. However, many of these same people don't vote for Democrats because Republicans scare the crap out of them with lies about socialism, critical race theory, Hillary's emails, Hunter Biden's laptop, or whatever pack of lies is working at the time. It is up to us to reach out to these people and hear them out. Let them vent and try to help alleviate some of their fears. The best way to convince undecided voters is to just listen to them and make sure they feel like they are being heard. Ask questions, listen carefully, summarize what you hear to confirm understanding, and ask follow-up questions. If and when you feel comfortable, you can try to tie the voters' experiences with your own to build empathy and find common ground. The most important thing is to have a positive interaction, because most voters won't remember what you say, but many will remember how you made them feel. Face-to-face conversations are the best, but phone conversations can still identify undecided voters, and you can remind and encourage people to vote. Plus, you can contact more people by phone than you can by knocking on doors in the same amount of time. Also, some people will answer their phone but not their door, and vice versa. Both door knocking and phone banking are important. Don't waste your time on negative people. If you get an angry or negative response, just say thank you, have a great day, and move on to the next voter. You are looking for undecided voters. The most important thing to remember is to have a positive interaction, because most voters won't remember what you say, but many will remember how you make them feel. The second most important thing is that the more you do it, the better you get. Don't worry about making mistakes. Every contact you have will make you better. To review, listening to voters is important because people want to be heard. A field campaign starts out by contacting strong Democrats to recruit volunteers. The volunteers identify who is voting for whom and who are the undecided voters. The campaign continues to contact and listen to the undecided voters. In the last few days, you contact your candidate's supporters to make sure they all vote. Try to memorize a basic script and message before you begin. The main point is to try to get voters talking and to listen to what they have to say. Use your best, active listening skills to make voters feel like they are being heard, and the most important thing to remember is to have a positive interaction with each voter. So all of the above is about all you need to know to have a positive impact on any campaign. Please sign up to volunteer, where you can have the best impact, and good luck.